Can you guess who passed this route? Pit, peace house, prison, and palace? You guessed right, Joseph. God had promised him through dreams that one day he would be a great leader and his loved ones would come to him and plead to him for favor. Just like Joseph, God may have promised you too with a word of promise through a dream or vision, and it may look to you now that the circumstances are taking you in the exact opposite direction, and you may begin to panic and doubt of what he said. This is the time to believe even more because, as God has said, his ways are not our ways. Isaiah 55 8 and 9. I would like to bring to your attention another biblical character who was also promised the end point but wasn't given the exact directions to reach the end point. What then kept him to reach or receive what God had promised? It was his faith and his steadfastness. He didn't pull off the plug of his faith. In Acts chapter 23, verse 11, we read, "That night the Lord stood near him, Paul, and said, 'Keep up your courage, for just as you have testified for me in Jerusalem, so you must bear witness also in Rome.'" This was the promise received. Very soon started the trials to deter him from his faith and the promise he received. Acts chapter 23, 12 to 13 reads, "In the morning, the Jews joined in a conspiracy and bound themselves by an oath neither to eat or drink till they had killed Paul. There were more than 40 who joined in this conspiracy. He was delivered miraculously, and later he was set to sail. Nature was also against him. In Acts 27, verses 4 and 7, we read that the winds were against him. Though he set sail again, yet again, a violent wind called Northeaster rushed to divert him from the promised. Great was the intensity of the wind that in Acts 27:18 we read, "We were being pounded by the storm so violently that on the next day that they began to throw the cargo overboard." Verse 20, "When neither sun nor stars appeared for many days, and no small tempest raged, all hope of our being saved was at last abandoned." As Paul was a man who kept his courage, the angel of the Lord encouraged him in Acts 27, 23, and 24. He stepped up his and the courage of the men who were losing hope. Acts chapter 27, verse 34 reads, "None of you will lose a hair from your head." They finally reached safely the island of Malta, but there again a viper got fastened to his hand to kill him. Did he reach the land, Rome, as promised? Yes, but had to face another wind lashing against their ship. Acts 28, verse 30 reads, "Paul dwelt 2 whole years in his own rented house and received all who came to him, preaching the kingdom of God." Like Joseph and Paul, if you find yourself in certain circumstances that are uncomfortable but still prevail in spite of many prayers, trust Him. He will reach you towards the fulfillment of the promise, but through the journey, He will also teach you to depend more on Him than on anything else. So don't quit and don't be discouraged. Hebrews 10:23 reads, "Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised." Be blessed.